Okay, so I got the back cover complete, and I just wanted to show you that I didn't go all the way to the edge here because it's going to roll around it, so there's no need to really go all the way to the edge. But I did take this particular piece and go all the way to the edge here. So it kind of just every instance might be different when you're doing your covers. You'll have to figure out what works best for your piece. But in this case, I went all the way to the edge with my jelly print on this side, but on this one I did not. This one I just left a small border. So now we're ready to do the spine. And what I do with the spine is I figure out how far I want it to roll around the back and how much I want on the front. So typically I'll take my piece and just kind of hold it and decide where I want it, and then so like this I'll decide, okay, I think I want about that much showing, and I want my guy to be on the outside of that. I don't want him underneath like that. So I think I want about like that much, because I'll end up putting some washi tape and put him like that. Yep, I think I like that. And then I'll just roll it around to the back and figure out how much I want it to go this way. So I've done that already, and now we're just ready to put it down. So my piece I knew was 10.5 high, and in this particular case I went 4 3/4. So that's what it's going to take. And what I do now on this is I will again put, I don't use double cardstock like I did on the cover and the back cover. This just happens to be cardstock weight, so it's perfect. If I was using just regular scrapbook paper, something lightweight, then I probably would put a piece of cardstock first and then put my scrapbook paper over it. So I've got my tape on there now. You can see I've done a double row here and here, and then just a single row here, and I will put glue around the rest of it. I did draw a reference line right down the front here so that I can make sure that I get it straight when I go ahead to put this on, because I really don't have too much of a reference. So I needed something to make sure that I was straight there. The other thing I wanted to suggest to you guys before you take off your tape, just like I mentioned about rolling something for your graphics before you glue them down into your journals, I kind of do this. I sort of start rolling the paper a little bit, and it helps make it roll around that spine just a little bit easier. And of course you do it before the tape, because if it was sticky you couldn't do it. So that's about enough. You can also just roll it alongside your desk if you want, but I think we're good. So we'll go ahead and take this tape off. Start here. So here, when you add your glue, you want to make sure you have sufficient glue. So, and you want to make sure you're using one that's strong. So again, I'm going to just use the Aleene's Tacky Glue because it's pretty strong. And I'm going to go along all of the edges, make sure I get them well, and then I'm also going to make sure that I have sufficient glue in the center. And try and spread it out evenly so you don't have the lumps that you saw in my earlier cover. So this for me is probably the most stressful part for some reason. Just because if the spine doesn't go on straight, then you're going to have to figure out how you're going to cover that up or make it work. Which, in some cases, that always is a great challenge. Okay, so that's done. And here we go. So what I do is I turn it this way. And make sure, I know it sounds really elementary, that your journal's going the proper direction, that you've got your up going up. And I might have to get my head here in the camera a little bit just to make sure I line this up. But you want to make sure that you've got your line up on the line, top and bottom. Okay, so like that. Try not to let it go all the way down. I turn it like this, and I kind of try and roll it, because that makes it easier. And then you hope that your top and bottom, oh yeah, whew, whew, can breathe a little. They lined up. And then you start burnishing. And oh goodness, that worked out great. Okay. Whew. And then I also just do this along the side, so you're burnishing and burnishing. I think my piece is a little high here and just a tad, if you can see right there, just a little bit short. But it's going to be fine. It's not going to be a big deal. Now the real key is don't just go and open this up. Make sure it dries well before you open up your magazine. It's particularly wide. So again, this is where I do a lot of burnishing. I just want to make sure that I've got it adhered really well. And I also take my thumb and forefinger and just go right along the edge of the magazine, because you might get, you know, a little crease like magazines do, which is fine. Yeah, that looks good. Oh boy, I'm happy with that. All right. Now when we put this dude down, he is going to look fantastic. Now at this point, you can put washi tape if you wanted to. And I think I probably will put something, because I don't really want him cut off. Maybe I do. Maybe I will cut that part off so he sort of just butts up against the edge there. I could do it this way too and just cut him off this side. Okay, I think I'll do that. So I decided what I'm going to do for washi tape, but what I'm going to do before I put everything down is I'm going to give this a light sanding. And I generally do this. I like my covers to have a little more rustic look to them. Now I'm not going to really go at this. This is a pretty lightweight. This is a 180 sandpaper and it's been well used. But I just do a little bit just to knock back some of the colors. And it just kind of, I don't know, roughs it up a little bit. And so I do that. And I'll do it on both sides, whoops, front and back. Just a little bit, and I probably should have a clean piece of sandpaper because I'm transferring other colors, but that's okay. You can see I don't do it very much. You know, I don't want to tear the paper, I just want to fade it out a little bit. Okay, that's good. Then I'll just take like a paper towel and just wipe it down just to make sure I've got all that dust off. And I really don't do it on the spine. You could, and it'll give you a worn edge if you like that look, but I'll probably not do it on this one. Okay, so what I decided was I'm going to use, and I don't generally use the same washi tape front and back, it doesn't really matter. And in the end, don't sweat it too much because you won't see it once you get stuff going on your covers. So don't sweat, you know, just sweat it too much. Just pick something and go. So this is what I decided I was going to use. And I usually put some glue down, just use glue stick just to help it adhere a little bit more. And that's enough till you get the Mod Podge over it. So let me get some glue down. And I put it on just, you know, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and kind of center it over, however you want to do it. Just try and get it straight. There's nothing worse than it's not being straight. Okay, I'll end up cutting those off. Okay. The reason I picked this was because his shirt has these colors in it. That might seem a little odd, but I kind of like the way that looked together. So that's what I'm going to do on the front. And then on the back, I decided I love this washi tape. It's dates. And so I'm going to use that. Once again, I'm just going to do the glue just to make sure this washi tape doesn't have any problems. And I'm just going to glue that down. I liked this because it pulled out some of the yellow. And I don't know what else I'll put on the back. Yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Okay, just cut those off. All right, so that is done. And the big thing on all of this, of course, is to make sure everything gets dry before you go to too many steps. Okay, perfect. I think what I'll do now is go ahead and glue him down. Kind of been messing with where I want him. Do I like him there? Do I like him over here? And I'm thinking because I have a little bit of a ragged edge there, I might just, I don't know. Again, don't sweat it. And I trimmed him down a little bit. And so what I'm going to do for this is put him down with Mod Podge. So I'm going to put Mod Podge on the back of him, and that's how I'll glue him down. So I think I'll do it just about like that. He's going to be almost centered, I think. Okay. I like him. Okay, let's get gluing. So I have my piece of wax paper down and turn my image over. And this is a Tim Holtz collage brush. And oh my gosh, I love this thing. And so I decided I'm going to go ahead and just use the Mod Podge paper. So I'm just going to dip that in there. And I just put it on. You guys all know how to do this stuff, I'm sure. Just want to make sure that you get enough on there so it'll adhere. Okay. Glue them down. Put them at the bottom. Okay. And this is where I use that soft towel just to really make sure. Might help if you see them, huh? Get that down really well. Now you can go over him with Mod Podge if you want. I am not going to because I'm gonna, when I do my cover, it'll have a layer, so I'm not going to put another layer. And I am going to have to trim this off a little bit, so I'll go ahead and do that. And we are getting close to being done with this cover.